fruit shop. I walk over and hit him on the chin. He runs away and goes into the fruit shop. I went in there, and then he took a knife to try and cut me. You understand? There was 2 knives supposed to be used, but only one was used that he had. I had no knife.
If Spot said Albert had a tool, that's all rubbish. Because no way would Spot have left the West End, at the East End, and made his way to Albert to have a confrontation with Albert without something in his hand, whether it be a knuckle duster or whether it be a tool or anything, right? So he brought the tool along, right? And he's gone at Albert with the tool. Steamed into Albert with the tool.
In the shop, Dimes had some help from the fruiterer's wife.
The fruiterer's wife hit me on the head with the scales. Smashed my head open with all the weights. I didn't know what it was all about. What did she have to do that for?
The woman in the fruit shop probably saved Dimes' life and delivered him a famous victory. Both men were put on trial for the Battle of Frith Street, but both got off. It was the beginning of the end for Spot and the making of Dimes.
He was nothing, Albert Dimes. He pounced on that victory. And Billy all leapt him up and says, "Oh, he done Jack and all this crap," which he never done me. I was about the next day looking for him again, you know.
For all his bravado, Spot was no longer the hunter, but the hunted. In the heart of London's old Italian community, the friends of Albert Dimes plotted revenge for Spot's attack.
Now, we do what we got to do. Whatever Spot had interest in went up in the air. He had clubs in the West End. They were smashed up, burnt down, whatever. Right? We went into all these joints in the East End looking for Jack Spot. Right? 1 or 2 people got hurt. Individuals got hurt. Now, Spot saw the writing on the wall. He knew now that the strength that he had wasn't forthcoming. Right? Illy had fell out with him. So now he realised, aye, what's happened? I'm out in the cold here, right? So now he's an individual. He's nothing, right?
In the end, Spot was betrayed by one of his own people.
Well, we had somebody in the Spot camp, because all we wanted to know was where we could cop for Spot. That's all we wanted to know. And we had somebody who Spot thought he could trust, that was in there alongside the Spot, that would tell us when Spot left his house.
Night after night, Dimes's friends waited in the Central Club for news of Spot. Bert Rossi claims he got so bored he went dog racing. But meantime, his comrades had gone off to attack Spot as he left a restaurant with his wife.
They start cutting me here. You understand? They cut me from here, down here. They cut my ear, you see, on the floor, which I picked up later and put in my pocket. They cut me, stabbed me in my... If I showed you, I've got scars all over me. You understand? And I survived. 300 stitches they give me.
Well, when you're doing a man, you don't care whether you kill him or not, no, do you? You're not... If you were just going to hurt a man, you just slice him, and that's the end of the story. But if you want to keep going to work, then you do want to kill him, don't you? That's what you want to do. He brought all this on himself, Spot. He didn't have to have done nothing done to him. He thought he was going to be Jack the Head, or as he put in the paper, King of London's underworld, and he brought it on himself. He wanted to be a king. Well, he did. That's it. If he hadn't have attacked Albert, it wouldn't have happened. End of story. Right?
The mob attack made front-page news. Spot's wife, Rita, became a heroine for allegedly fighting off his attackers. Soon the police arrested the obvious suspects, but Bert Rossi had fled to Ireland with Billy Bly, who was one of Spot's attackers. Weeks later, Scotland Yard detectives, acting on a tip-off, dragged them back.
Now, they put me in a cell here, and they put Bly in a cell there, right? Right. All of a sudden, I hear a shuffle of steps in the corridor. They open up the cell door. Listen to this. But what, they talk about the Gestapo. Listen to this. The SS. They turn, this is in Barrington Green, out of London. They open up the door, and there's a bird standing there. I've never seen it before in my life. This Spot's old woman, standing there with a couple of coppers around her. She looks at me. I don't even know what she's there for, right? Looks at me. She said, yes, that's the man. Before I knew anything else, they couldn't even say, what are you talking about? The door's shut, and they done the same thing to Bill. That was our ID. In a cell, on my own, that's the man. Right? Because I tell you, from the very beginning, she never saw a soul. Even though she was there when it happened, she never saw anybody, because the people, I tell you, the people that went on that thing there were masked up.
Rossi and 4 other men were put on trial. Spot was hauled in to exhibit his scars, but refused to give evidence.
He excused himself that he couldn't see anything because he was being seen to. But the thing is, his wife gets in the box. Oh, yes, yes. She points at me, Bly, and Dennis. She said, yes, those 3 were there. I actually saw them do this and do this and do that. Now, you can't say to the judge, this is one lot of rubbish, because everybody that did, well, they had a mask, can you? So, they take her word for it.
On Rita Spot's word, Rossi was convicted and jailed for 4 years. Other men were jailed for 7. But with Jack Spot out of the action, Albert Dimes was now top of the pile. Who should start snuggling up to him but Billy Hill?
Billy was a cunning manipulator of men. Illy was a bad man, Illy, and I worked with Illy. But he had no feeling, Illy. He wasn't a warm-hearted man. Illy was a man that would use anybody, use you, and just drop you. He had no feeling. I don't know what very, very unusual man, Illy. Anyway, now I could see it. So he started coming to the Central Club. Now he's palling up with Albert. See? But he was there too often for my life. I thought myself, well, it's funny now. He's never been in here. He's always with Spot. All of a sudden, now Spot's hit the dust. He's here every night, you know.
The alliance between Dimes and Hill meant there was no way back for Spot. In the early 1950s, he'd been collecting £3,000 a week from one gambling club alone. But in 1959, he was declared bankrupt. All down, he says, to Billy Hill.
He meant to skin me, murder me, and kill me, but it only worked. He got me no money. He's a wicked bastard.
He succeeded in destroying you.
He destroyed me, not bodily. He destroyed me that he left me a bit broke. But thank God I had a good wife and my lovely children. I'm all right today.
With Spot out of the game, in the 1960s, Albert Dimes was the most respected gangster in London. But at the height of his power, he died.
I was choked. Like a brother. I was choked for a good, lovely man. Yeah, choked. Died of cancer.
That left Billy Hill. He had that rarest of gangsters' fates, a happy and prosperous retirement. But not before he had embraced 2 rising young East Enders, Ronald and Reginald Cray, who would make the era of Hill and Spot look tame.
Next week in Gangsters, an interview with the chief henchman of the firm, the criminal organisation run by the Cray twins.